Success Insight shares the stories of the people with passion and drive who make things happen in the world. Here's your host, Howard Fox.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Success Insight podcast. Today is Mindset Monday, and our returning guest is leadership mindset and golf performance coach, Andree Martin. Andree is an LPGA Class A Life member, a nationally recognized top 50 golf teacher and expert, and a member of the Maine Golf Hall of Fame. Recognizing golf's value as a business tool in today's competitive marketplace, Andree works with individuals, groups, corporate or organizational clients to create educational and team-building programs that enhance the professional success of aspiring executives. Now, if you've been with us on our previous Mindset Mondays, we started with going for the gold. We followed that up with staying grounded, then managing hazards and blow-up holes, followed by effortless power versus powerful effort, and purposeful practice. So, Andree, welcome back to the Success Insight podcast.
Thanks, Howard. It's great to be back.
All right. So, what are we going to get introduced today? Looking forward.
Today's focus, we are hopefully in most states at the crest of this gosh darn coronavirus. And so I'm thinking it's time for us to decide which mindset are we going to take. I'm going to go for the gold. I know you are too, and I'm hoping the audience listening is going to go for the gold and not settle for silver either. That being said, rising up is multifolded. One of my favorite analogies is the phoenix bird. It rises from the ashes, turns to color, and just lights things up and makes things incredibly opportunistic and wonderful, right? And then we've got Easter. I'm of the Christian faith where in Easter you've got Jesus. We've just had Ash Wednesday. We've rised up and he's risen from the dead, right? And I'm thinking America's in that same situation too. Being a golf professional, it's all timely. This all ties in together. Tiger Woods would be defending the most incredible win, I think, in golf. He had the greatest comeback moment in the history, not only of golf, but it was the Masters. It was the major.
When was this tournament with Tiger Woods?
Last year.
It was last year.
This time. It's every year at this time of year.
Okay.
And it's the most coveted tournament in golf. The Masters does everything first class. And Tiger got his big start with a huge win. And now, after a year ago, he could barely tie his shoes. And folks who are golfers out there in the audience know what I'm speaking about, but I think he relates to any athlete, anybody going through hard times, constantly knock down. It's America right now. We've got an opportunity to rise up and really knock it out of the park. I've got two of my members were facing a really critical time with the coronavirus. They went for the gold. They're coming back, they're rehabbing, they're doing great. And Tiger, it's just interesting how things fall into place in time. But the man could barely tie his shoes. His back was a mess. He had the yips, which for non-golfers, it's a scary thing. You just get up to it and you can almost not hit the shot. And the ball could go sideways. It could go all over the place. Makes me think of Joe Parent when he was in that horrific bicycle accident and he was told he wouldn't walk again. And he said, no, I'm going to go for the gold. I'm going to rise up. And he actually healed himself. It's a miracle. Everything was falling apart and he returned to glory. Right now, we all are going to be continually challenged with which direction we want to go. We have another opportunity to rise to our highest potential. Tiger showed us it's possible.
In the golf world, I mean, in the sports world, there are story upon story of athletes for the sake of better words, metaphors. I mean, the one that comes to mind to me is crash and burn. But for whatever reason, that happened to Tiger Woods. It's happened to other athletes. They somehow find it in themselves how to do that rising up. And that happens in the business world too. You lose a project or a project goes south, something didn't happen that you expected to happen, and you can go, woe is me, and go hide in the office and not talk to anybody, or you can learn from those lessons, pick yourself up, assemble the necessary team, whether it's peers, staff, mentors, other business partners to help you overcome that challenge, that adversity, and reinvent yourself. I mean, I'm thinking, in the auto industry right now with the COVID-19 virus, you've got General Motors and Ford are knocking it out of the park. General Motors and its partner, I forget the name, I think it was Ventec, is producing these respirators. And my brother-in-law works for Ford, and they're producing these safety helmets that cover your face with plexiglass or plastic. And they're producing hundreds of thousands of them a day. And so they're rising up from this adversity. It wasn't their adversity, but they're rising up, helping their community overcome. And the reason I was going this way, Andree, is Lee Iacocca. He used to work for Ford Motor Company. He got fired, went off and worked with, I think it was Chrysler, and then they produced the minivan. So he, in this example, reinvented himself. It is possible, not only in the sports world, but in the business world, to reinvent yourself, especially when you are faced with some type of adversity. Some you may have caused inadvertently, but some of it comes out of nowhere.
You never know. In fact, I can speak from personal story. I loved college golf, but I blew out my shoulder. Now, this is certainly a small scale compared to Tiger Woods, but when I look back, it crushed me because I didn't have a chance to go for the tour, but it ended up being the biggest blessing in disguise because I've had some of the most incredible jobs in the golf business. I was one of the early women in management in golf. I've been so fortunate. And it's all, how are we going to pivot is a big word in business right now. How are we going to pivot? And interestingly enough, if you don't pivot in golf, you don't have a successful shot. So how are we going to reach our highest potential? How are we going to dig in and collaboratively support one another? I think that's been a big shift. It's not us against them. Right now, the country's pulling together. All of these companies are making masks. They're making respirators. They're making the shields, all the parts that the front line needs to be successful and beat this thing. And it's pretty awesome. There are so many examples of rising from the ashes and rising up.
So you've got, the companies, they're coming together either with their employees, their staff, their business partners. And so when you think of like a Tiger Woods, I mean, he was rock bottom.
Rock bottom. Absolute rock bottom in every aspect of his life.
So how does someone like Tiger Woods rise up? He did not do it, and you will tell me if I'm wrong, but I suspect he did not do it by himself without help. How does someone like that rise up?
I go back to a saying that a winner never quits and a quitter never wins. And he is a champion through and through. There's no question about it. And his energy, his ability to create this perfect storm and come back, everything about him, it's like must-see TV. It's almost like all the other athletes are playing for second place when Tiger's on TV. I mean, what kind of a human being is able to create that kind of charisma, enthusiasm? But it's through his grit, determination. He's created a way to be unstoppable. And this time it's within, because he could have gone the other way, just like anybody else. And he dug deep, really deep, and said, no, I'm going to do this. He's back at it again. His back's been out again. And hopefully this downturn that we've had is giving him a chance to rise up again. And he will. He is. I can't think. Ben Hogan is the closest, and his story of coming back from the crushing car accident, everybody is saying this is even bigger. And it doesn't take an accident. I mean, you even think back to 9/11, there's so many stories of people just turning things around and really rising up. And we're doing it again.
Heal and rise up.
And folks, I know it's hard out there. I know a lot of people are not experiencing that right now. But how can you take that blow-up hole that we talked about last week, right, and turn it around? So what's working, what isn't? How do we restructure our goals, restructure our manpower, and create opportunity and set ourselves up to crush it when we can get get back and rolling if we're not already getting back and rolling. I haven't worked since the middle of March, and I'm loving this opportunity. It's great because hopefully everybody is getting inspired and we're adding value to those that are in need. And that's what it's all about. And that's what I love about sports, because, this is also an Olympic summer. There's a lot of Olympians out there that wish they could be competing this summer. They're going to wait and they're going to do it again next year. It's so important to not go the dark road. You got the left road, the right road, or the dark road, the light road, however you want to look at it. Stop yourself in the tracks. Say, I'm not playing that route. We're going forward, focus positively. We're going to walk and think like a champion, think like the Olympian, go for that goal. It may take writing down steps and doing your pros and cons and pulling your team together and creating new strategy sessions like you've never had before. And it is being done in all aspects and in many ways, even from a family perspective. How can we keep this family together when we're not used to spending this much time together? How can we really take the opportunity to love one another in celebration of Easter and Passover and really get to the meaning of what it's like to truly live, right?
Very much, very much. Well, on that note, I think we have a wonderful episode, Rising Up, going for your highest potential and ability, and really lots of good real-life stories going on that we are working through today, whether it's from a sports perspective or the business perspective. So, Andree, thank you again for joining me on this Mindset Monday. Thank you.
Thank you, Howard. It's always a pleasure, and look forward to next week.
Fantastic, and very excited to learn what we're going to talk about then. So thanks so much. All right, folks, we have just been chatting with Andree Martin, our leadership mindset and golf performance coach, and she has been joining us for the past couple of weeks on our little series here called Mindset Monday. Hope you are enjoying it. Today's episode was on rising up. And we're excited during this Easter weekend. Passover is well underway. Whatever your beliefs are, it doesn't matter. Rising up is metaphorically important for all of us. So whatever the adversity we are facing, whether it's out on the field of sports or in business or in the home, take the time and think about what you can do for yourself, what you can do for others. Just asking people, what can I do for you? What can I do for you? What do you need? Not how can I help you, but what do you need instead? Different type of language there. So again, join us next Monday for another edition of Mindset Monday. Until then, please visit our podcast page, successinsightpodcast.com. Let us know what you think about today's episode. You can also visit our page on LinkedIn and on Facebook. We are also on all of the podcast channels, or at least most of the podcast channels, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Google Podcast. And as I say every episode, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, do it from a distance, a safe distance, but have a phenomenal day and go out there and make a difference. And we'll see you next time on a Success Insight podcast. Take care now.
Success Insight is a production of Fox Coaching and First Story Strategies. Find us online, successinsightpodcast.com.